just having somebody say the words like, "This hasn't been your fault," was so empowering for me. I've struggled with my mental health for about 25 years. It's mostly been a lonely struggle. I haven't told many people because I found it to be quite embarrassing and shameful and difficult to put into words. I've basically struggled with undiagnosed OCD and maladaptive daydreaming. My compulsion was daydreaming, which was really difficult to describe to somebody, like how that was making my life miserable, but it was. I felt like I was in a constant battle with my brain, and I now have a psychiatrist. I'm being treated for OCD, and really for the first time I'm starting to think clearly and feel in a much better place. But I wanted to share something that my psychiatrist said to me that really helped me, and I hope it will help other people. So he said to me, I think I was crying or talking about something, and he said to me, "None of this has been your fault." And he said, "It's the illness." And that was really just such a wake-up call for me, because I've spent so long, even when I started to suspect that maybe I did have a mental health problem, or maybe there was something wrong with my brain, I still blamed myself. I thought it was me. I thought I was stupid for not being able to overcome this. I thought I was just really weird and ridiculous because I couldn't get over this problem, and I felt in a struggle with my brain constantly. I would basically go back and forth between being in daydream scenarios and literally wanting to die. I mean, it was just really intense, and I felt like I was weak for not being able to stop this myself. I kind of would read about mindfulness and different techniques and different things people would do for their well-being, and I would wonder, like, why am I not able to overcome this? I really felt like the onus was on me to overcome this. And I think, hearing him say this is not your fault really brought home to me the fact that this is a mental illness, or a mental health problem, and if you are battling with your brain, it really is not your fault, and you are not weak for not being able to overcome it with pieces of advice, well-meaning advice, but they would suit a more normal brain, or a brain that's not torturing you, or a brain that's not doing something compulsively that you are powerless to stop. And I think with mental health, like, we feel we should be able to fix it ourselves, and it can be so difficult to get the help that we need, that even if we take steps to get help and we don't get help, then it's like, okay, right, I need to fix this myself. That's happened to me. I got therapy on 2 different occasions. It wasn't helping me, and each time I got therapy, I ended up feeling worse, because it was like, okay, nothing is going to help me. And that's why I want to encourage people, if you have tried something and it hasn't worked and you're still in this battle with your brain, keep on trying, keep on reaching out, because you owe it to yourself to find out what's wrong and to get the proper help that you need. I now feel I'm being treated for OCD, and I'm being treated the way I should have been treated a long time ago, and now I'm finally able to overcome things and see things more clearly, and now I don't need to blame myself. I can understand, like, this was an illness I was dealing with, and I think back to my younger self, and I just, I feel so sorry for her, because she was feeling so stupid and feeling so ashamed and embarrassed, and I thought I was just battling something that was immature, like this constant daydreaming, and battling against something that was a failing of myself, and I didn't realise, I am battling with a real mental health condition, and I didn't know, and I had no one to speak to. It was, so embarrassing, and it was so difficult to put into words that I couldn't speak to anybody about it, and this was just all a private struggle that I was going through, really. I recently watched the show Apple Cider Vinegar, and I was just thinking about how this show is about well-being techniques being used to cure cancer, and how that just doesn't work, because the problem is too far advanced as to what the solution is. The solution, the well-being stuff, the juicing and nutrition and all this kind of stuff is great to keep healthy for a healthy person, but it won't do anything to beat cancer. And that's, you know, when we have a mental health problem that really needs treated in a particular way, and we're trying to do all these lesser things that people tell us to do, like just stop thinking, you know, you can't do it. It's not possible. So it's kind of like you're putting a plaster over like a gushing wound that really needs stitches. If you need stitches, you need to get the stitches first, and then as those stitches start to heal, then you can put the plasters on. So although I'm getting treated for OCD, I can see the ways in which I can help myself, because I can feel now that the help I'm getting is doing the heavy lifting for me, but I still need to help myself. So I'm like avoiding triggers that might set off my daydreaming. I'm looking for ways to occupy myself and make myself feel good. I'm trying to rebuild my creativity. I'm doing all these things to fill the gap, but these aren't things that I could have done without actually getting the help I needed. So my story is that I saw 2 therapists, they didn't help, and eventually I've seen a psychiatrist who's diagnosed me with OCD, and I'm now being treated for that, and that's made a massive improvement to my life. So I just want to say to other people, you know, I can't say if you do need treatment, therapy, medication, it's all about you finding out exactly what you need for yourself, but not beating yourself up if you're not responding to things that seem like other people would respond to or that would help other people. Like, if you are in a fight with your brain, it really is not your fault. There's something wrong, and that something is not a failing of yours. If you had a broken arm or something that was physically wrong with you, you would go to the doctor and you would want to get the ideal treatment for that. You know, you would not just want a doctor to like put something in a sling when really it needs a cast. Like, you need what's specific to your problem, and in order to do that you need to try and get the professional help that you need. And it's really not always easy, and you might have a few false starts, but I would say really keep going, because we only have one life and we owe it to ourselves to be able to live it in a more peaceful way. But if you have a mental health problem, I mean, from the outside, not a lot of people know I've been struggling so much, because from the outside everything looks fine. You know, people closest to you might not see what's going on, so you really need to help yourself and not give up. Like, I really, after I saw a second therapist, I really thought, oh, there's no help for me, like, this is impossible. Everything she was telling me to do, I just couldn't do. I couldn't understand why I couldn't overcome this. I couldn't understand why my brain was compulsively going somewhere I didn't want it to go, just constantly. And I really had to reach a very intense breaking point in order to push myself to go see a psychiatrist. But I'm so glad I did, because I'm now, you know, starting to understand myself. I'm getting the help I need, and him saying to me it's not your fault and kind of validating what I should have known has allowed me kind of to heal something in myself, because I couldn't think about my younger self. I was really angry about my younger self, or I feel like I have let down my younger self, and now I can look back with empathy and say, you know, you were doing this because there was a problem and not because you're an idiot. Which is really what, you know, I was telling myself. I was just so down on myself, and just having somebody say the words like, this hasn't been your fault, was so empowering for me. I honestly wish I could have just recorded him saying that to me. And if you need to hear that, I want to say it to you. This has not been your fault. I hope that you get the help that you need. And if you like this video, please do like and subscribe. I'm going to be talking more about my mental health journey and my journey to reconnect with my creative self, my younger self, my happier self. I wish you luck if you're on a similar journey. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!